And we are expecting our guests momentarily here. Dr. Faye Williams will be joining us right now, though I'm going to go straight to Howard from Watts and sneak this call in before we get Miss Williams on the phone. Good morning, Howard.
Good morning. Excuse me. Grand rising to you. I won't call you for some couch time, but I got another question I'd like to ask you, or a comment or whatever. You remember the incident in Ontario where this guy was killed by off-duty LAPD behind a fender bender?
Behind what? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Behind a fender bender.
I don't know which case you're talking about right now. Do you have a name or anything like that?
All I remember is off-duty LAPD.
Mm-hmm.
He was involved in a fender bender, and he got out the car and shot this man of 30 years old with 3 kids and all that.
Okay.
You hear that? And I want to, my comment is, since the FOP is talking about qualified immunity, can the people scream about when these officers kill somebody, especially under questionable circumstances, should they be drug tested on the spot, like a DWI or something? That'd be like a quid pro quo.
You know what? I don't know the answer to that. It seems like it could be a violation of their rights. But although honestly, they do make you take alcohol. What are those, like dexterity tests and that on the side of the road? So I'm not really sure. What was your suggestion?
My suggestion is it might be, since the FOP is screaming about they should be allowed qualified immunity, should the people scream about have the police, when they have those controversial shootings of unarmed citizens, should they be required to take a drug test on the spot? Or,
okay, you're talking about testing the police, not
right.
Testing the person they pulled over. Yeah, I don't. You know what? I don't know. I've always thought that police officers should be randomly drug tested anyway, and that should include steroids, because I know from having friends and colleagues who are in law enforcement that some of them do use steroids, and the roid rage and paranoia and stuff is a real thing. It does seem like if you fatally shoot someone, that psychological and drug testing would be part of that. But I don't think it is. I'm not sure. I don't know the answer to that. I imagine that their police associations probably protect them from that to some degree. The police associations, which of course Black Lives Matter, Grassroots, and BLMLA, have been on a long campaign to remove from labor because they say they're not actually unions. But in the sense of, sheltering them from that kind of inquiry, they may be functioning as advocates in that kind of scenario. But I don't know. I shall find out. I hadn't thought of it that way, Howard. So how would that? I mean, I guess it would impact the case, because then they would have on the record that they were drunk or not drunk or high or not high or on steroids or not on steroids, as their case was adjudicated inside that law enforcement agency. Is that what you're thinking?
And I think that should be a requirement in the law, written into the law, that after police shooting, especially some kind of issues where the person was unarmed, that they should have some kind of drug testing, because these police are out of control, in and out of uniform. And I just want to know, if it was just a noise fender bender, how did it escalate this guy want to shoot somebody? It seems like get on the side of the road, take the information, insurance, and stuff like that, guy's license number, and do handling like that. But if you jump out the car and just get upset, man, because you got fender bender, okay, I can understand. I got fender bender, but I didn't jump out the car and beat up the guy. Hey, take his insurance number, his insurance and driver's license, and claim it that way. It should be have to fear for your life every time you have that going on against you, regardless of who it is. There's a lot of road rage out there. And like Dominique, we talked about when I called about low riders and stuff like that. You got people speed up and down these streets like it's crazy. Oh, another thing when I got your attention, another beef I got is that these car chases, you can't watch TV and watch a regular program and they ever interrupted with a car chase. That's not getting to
Well, I don't know about your program being interrupted, but you know that I'm against police car chases. To me, you have a helicopter, you have drones, you have all manner of ways of following this person without endangering the public. So, to me, a car chase by a police is outdated. It's not something that should be allowed. You endanger the general public, you endanger citizens unnecessarily. In fact, if you are ever going to chase someone, it should be a mass murderer who's going to go around and kill people or endanger the public. Most of the time, they're chasing someone who stole a car. I'm sorry. I'm sorry your car was stolen, but it's not worth endangering the public to get your car back. Follow them with a drone until they run out of gas. Follow them with a helicopter. The news agencies are following them anyway. I just feel like it's high time we made a police chase out of policy unless the person is literally a terrorist who is on a mass shooting spree or endangering the public at large, where it becomes worth putting people in harm's way. And to me, a car theft is not that. Even a drunk driver is not that, although I don't want them on the road. But why would you endanger hundreds of people to catch one person? When you can... Yeah, go ahead, Howard.
What I like to see along those lines, they have been interrupting programs. That's not doing the people on the street any good. They should have like an Amber Alert for car chases, so the people on just driving, if they tune in their radios, you can do it like an Amber Alert, let you know what the traces are taking place, so you kind of avoid it some kind of way. But they don't do. They want, like they say, what leads it leads. So that's not right, because it's not doing people just driving out there in the streets.
Yeah,
good if you
got it, Howard. What's your bottom line?
My bottom line is I'm concerned about police going around shooting people that you know there's police there on steroids. And when they have these car chases, they should put on some kind of, on the radio, like an emergency alert or like an Amber Alert, so the people that's driving would know. And the police got to be dealt with like that. I think it should be maybe a quid pro quo.
Got it. Wait, I said your bottom line, not a recap of everything you already said, Howard. Your bottom line is you're concerned about how police are dealing with people in these kind of encounters and not having any accountability, sounds like. Thanks, Howard.
Hello?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'll come on later for some couch time, okay?
Okay. His couch time, his mental health conversations. So, Hunter Biden, jury selection in the Hunter Biden case happens today in Delaware. There are two different trials that will take place where Hunter Biden, the drug addicted, or at least formerly drug addicted son of the president, goes on trial today. It's the gun charges. And of course, last week the president was convicted. The former president was convicted of 34 felonies. So I'm sure many on the conservative side will be rejoicing that they get to have a Biden in court. He is also facing another case. But, this whole thing, there was a deal on the table, and then the deal fell apart. Now he's going on trial. And this is nothing to do with the President of the United States, other than the fact that this is his child, who's a grown person, but still his offspring, his child. And I know that a lot of people are trying to make it, the same. Former president, 34 felonies, current president's son, not the father. And although Republicans have been trying really hard to tie in the current president with his son's issues, legal troubles, they've been unable to do so. And with the time, the effort, the whole impeachment inquiry that they put forth, if they haven't been able to do it, that means there's a reason for that, right? So but it's not a good look. I mean, it's problematic for Biden that his son is going to be having not one but two trials during this election year. And they started jury selection actually already this morning. This trial is said to be about 3 to 5 days. And then there's another one in September around his failure to file tax returns for several years. I've said it before. Y'all know my take on this. Every family has somebody, a crackhead, an alcoholic, a serial slacker. I mean, if your family doesn't, I imagine you're probably cyborgs. But most families have them. Yes, white families too, Latino families, Asian families, I don't care. So, I think if we weren't so polarized in terms of the new Confederates versus the Democrats, and it wouldn't be such a big deal. But in this atmosphere, it is. Mexico has elected their first woman president, Claudia Sheinbaum. She is, it looks like, winning by a landslide, actually, a good 20 points up from her nearest competitor. AMLO, the progressive president of the United States, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, is her mentor, and she is also the country's first Jewish president. She's a climate scientist. She's a former mayor of Mexico City. And her mentor, AMLO, is very popular. But she was also popular because she's been able to bring crime down in Mexico City. And she is seen as progressive. Mexico is way behind the curve when it comes to dealing with the climate emergency. So having a climate scientist as a president, many people feel that could help. Mexico, even though we like to portray them as a third world neighbor who has folks flooding our country, is actually a powerful corporate and military actor on the world stage. They have 98 million registered voters. They are a significant player in this region. And when it comes to the climate emergency, for those of us like we are at KBLA who are concerned about the climate emergency, the election of Claudia Sheinbaum is a hopeful step, although when it comes to the nation of Mexico, she's got a lot to figure out and a lot to clean up, from the military to the police to corruption to the actual environment. We'll continue our conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
Not feeling like yourself lately? Has your weight loss plateaued? If so, it's time to embrace the D-Herbs Full Body Cleanse, a cleansing regimen that can help you lose 10 to 30 pounds. The D-Herbs Cleanse also helps to boost the immune system, improve mental clarity, clear up your skin, and improves your digestion. This cleanse is like a factory reset for your health. The Full Body Cleanse is a great way to propel you into a healthier lifestyle. With summer just around the corner, there's never been a better time to initiate that weight loss and reboot your system. Go to dherbs.com and order your full body cleanse today, or call 866-434-3727. Enter KBLA 1580 at checkout for a discount. D-Herbs. Experience healing.
Hi, Tavis Smiley here. We're getting closer to June 18th, and time is running out for you to register to join us for our historic symposium live on C-SPAN, Tuesday, June 18th, 4 to 7 p.m. at the California Science Center in Exposition Park. Admission is free, but you must register at KBLA1580.com right now if you want to be in the audience when the nation will see, for the first time ever, a stage full of brilliant black folk talking about the urgency of now. Climate justice, climate equity, climate resilience. It's all going down. Well, it's actually all going up. Tuesday, June 18th, 4 to 7 p.m. live from the California Science Center in Exposition Park. Again, admission is free, but we're filling up fast. So if I were you, I would log on right now to KBLA1580.com to reserve your seat. Caring about the climate, caring about the community. We're KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. Get 6 times longer lasting freshness plus odor protection with Downy Unstoppables in-wash scent beads.
Oh, I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Okay, I'm honored to have joining us now an entrepreneur and civic leader. She's an accomplished attorney, a businesswoman, and a teacher. She studied at several universities. She's got several advanced degrees. She got her law degree from Howard. Worked as counsel to Congress and a professor of international law at Southern University Law Center. Got a master's degree and a doctorate in public administration, and was the first African American to run a competitive congressional campaign in Louisiana, losing by just about 5,000 votes. She's an active church parishioner and a minister, and completed a candidacy for a doctorate of ministry at Wesley Theological Seminary in Washington, D.C., but probably most known as an activist for peace and human rights, in addition to being an author. Dr. Faye Williams, welcome.
But the best thing is that I'm on your show this morning. How are you?
You're kind to say so. I'm blessed. I'm happy to hear your voice. And I know I want to start with Marilyn Mosby because I know that's the main reason that you've called us. I had the honor and the pleasure of interviewing Marilyn Mosby when she was a prosecutor there, and just found her to be incredibly intelligent, kind, thoughtful, and super, just not just intelligent, but also intuitively smart as well.
Okay, and all of those are reasons why you're not talking with her this morning and you're talking with me, because we're giving her a bit of a rest and we're working on her behalf.
Absolutely. No, I wasn't complaining. I'm happy to talk to you. But I was kind of guessing that maybe that's why, those are some of the reasons why you've taken on this cause. Yes,
absolutely. We were with her last week where she was sentenced. You know, we've been hearing all of this about her being sentenced to 30 years, 40 years in prison for absolutely nothing other than working for our people. It so happened that the judge finally, got it right and did not sentence her to prison, but she still sentenced her to home confinement, which means how does she work? How did she get to go and do all the things she was doing before this came up? And I hope all of our listeners know that Marilyn was selectively prosecuted. There is no one in the country who's been prosecuted for what Marilyn was prosecuted and then persecuted. And I also want them to know that this began under the Trump administration, and we're now asking Mr. Biden to fix it. And that's why we're trying to get all of these names on the petition so that we can go to the president, the current president, and say, you've got to make this right.
Now, just to put things in context for those who didn't follow, Marilyn Mosby is the one who brought charges, and some said excessive charges, against the officers who killed Freddie Gray. And she has been outspoken and unapologetic in her pursuit of justice for police officers that commit crimes. We've seen a targeting of progressive prosecutors all across the country, either for recall or some kind of criminal attack, or criminal charges. What makes
or just getting harassed sometimes, just getting harassed by the state troopers or the police or somebody just trying to find something wrong with them. And you're correct. It's not just happening to Marilyn. She's probably gotten the worst of it thus far, but it's happened in Kansas City. It's happened in St. Louis. And the sister, Kim Gardner from St. Louis, came and talked about what's happening with her. Kim Fox in Chicago. Yep. Sonny Willis in Georgia. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. And you know how Trump has harassed Sister Letitia James, who's been successful. Don't let them get some success, because that's when they start getting the harassment. And in Marilyn's case, being selectively prosecuted for making somebody pay, or trying to make somebody pay for Freddie Gray's death. No one has paid yet, because they overturned that case against those police officers who can't seem to explain how he died from where they picked him up and took him to the police station. That's the case of Freddie Gray.
Well, yeah, I mean, and then I'll add to your list Pamela Price, who's the Alameda County DA here in California, another black woman, another progressive district attorney, another person targeted for removal. And I think it's the reason I pointed out, Dr. Williams, is because I feel like when we allow people to be isolated as an individual case, and then what happens is, and I heard this a lot with Fonnie Willis, well, girlfriend should have known she would be under scrutiny. Why would she go date that guy? And I'm hearing with Marilyn Mosby, well, didn't she commit some kind of real estate fraud? So explain what happened as you see it.
Well, this was her own money. When I hear people say, well, she should have known better, this is her money. It had been announced that people who needed some of the money from their retirement accounts during COVID could get it. And, of course, she filled out the form. She did everything she was supposed to do, and she received her own money from her own retirement account. And then, of course, that's when the police and others began to try to find something against her. And what they found was this theory called gifting, where she was going to try to get this property to, give to her children. This would be something that they would ultimately get when they grow up. And that was handled incorrectly. The person who helped her fill out the form explained everything to her and went to court and admitted she had given Marilyn wrong advice on getting her money out of her account. But please understand, those who are listening, that there were 35,000 people who did exactly the same thing that Marilyn did. None of them were prosecuted. None of them were investigated. So Marilyn stole no money. The money was her money, and all the mortgage company had to do was say, no, this is incorrect on your form. But they didn't do that. That's when the investigation began, and they used that to say that she perjured herself, and she didn't follow the gifting information as closely as she should have. And there was one word in there that she was advised to put in, but it turned out to be the wrong thing.
Dr. Faye Williams is our guest. We're talking about Marilyn Mosby, among other things. There's something you can do about it. We'll look at that after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Hunter Biden has arrived in a Delaware federal courtroom for his firearms case. Jury selection is underway in the trial of the president's son. Biden is accused of illegally buying and possessing a gun while being addicted to drugs in 2018. Hunter's stepmom, First Lady Jill Biden, and half-sister Ashley Biden are in attendance at the courthouse as well. Well, a Michael Jordan basketball card is worth a lot of money. A 2003 through 2004 Upper Deck Ultimate Collection one-of-one Logo Man card sold for just over $2.9 million. It was the highest price for any Jordan card ever sold. The African-American basketball icon won 6 titles with the Chicago Bulls in the 90s. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Find the perfect Father's Day gift with Macy's Gift Finder. In just a couple clicks, you'll get personalized gift ideas for every dad at every budget. Visit Macy's.com/gift finder and give love today at Macy's.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Simone Biles let the world know she's ready for the Summer Olympics this year in Paris. The 4-time Olympic gold medalist won the all-around competition Sunday at the U.S. Gymnastics Championships for the 9th time in her career. The UCLA women's softball team was eliminated from the World Series. They lost to Stanford in the quarterfinals. UCLA finished a strong season at 43-12. The new ownership group of the NFL Washington Commanders, which includes Magic Johnson, is not going to deal with any drama from players or staff. The Commanders cut place kicker Brandon McManus a week after a lawsuit was filed against him by 2 women accusing him of sexual misconduct. The Washington franchise went through several allegations of sexual misconduct and harassment in the workplace under former owner Dan Snyder. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
What does it take to take on Alzheimer's? Awareness that nearly 2/3 of those diagnosed are women, including Black women. Dedication to lowering your risk by eating healthy and monitoring blood pressure. And confidence to talk to your healthcare provider about screening and early detection. You have what it takes to take on Alzheimer's. Learn about signs and screening at takeonalz.com. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
I feel occasional burning and stabbing in my hands as I age.
I sometimes feel numbness and tingling in my feet as I get older.
It's starting to get in the way of doing what I love.
At Nervive, we hear you, and we can help. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use.
Now that I know, I'm taking control.
Try Nervive Nerve Relief and say yes to healthy nerves. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
And we're talking with Faye Williams. She's an attorney, an entrepreneur, and an advocate. And Ms. Williams, I'm gonna. It's going by too fast in my tiny laptops. I can't read them all. But There's a lot of conversation going on in the YouTube chat, responding to what you're saying and what I'm saying about Attorney Marilyn Mosby, the former Baltimore prosecutor. People are one person, a forensic accountant, and they're making a lot of justifications. One is saying that the mortgage company reported her to law enforcement, which is, according to this person, what they're supposed to do. Law enforcement proceeded with the case because politically exposed persons and senior political figures are subject to additional scrutiny. Somebody else said that they are just simply that she was using her retirement funds for an investment property, and claiming hardship, and that's illegal, and that she was found guilty. Whether she was found guilty or not, what happens next is also always open to interpretation. Everyone doesn't seem to have any problem understanding that with 34 felony counts, our former president will probably not do one single day in jail. Nobody seems to have a problem with that. But y'all up here in my YouTube chat on KBLA 1580 justifying Marilyn Mosby going to jail or suffering from professional consequences for filling out her paperwork wrong for a mortgage. Make it make sense.
Well, I've heard, I believe in the time that I've been working on these petitions, only 3 people to respond, as you're saying. I'm sure there are others who are against it. But what our people need to understand is that we all know the system wants to send a clear message to young lawyers and progressive prosecutors like the ones we're talking about, like Marilyn. Why is it that 35,000 other people got their retirement money, and you're going to tell me that all of them were suffering and needed their money, but no one investigated them? Marilyn was first investigated to find something wrong. It wasn't that it was so outstanding what she had done. And I hope people will realize this is her own money, and that the person who advised her in filling out the forms came to the trial and admitted she advised her incorrectly. She should have known. All the mortgage company had to do was to turn down the loan. So our people shouldn't be so hard on it. I'm assuming these may be some black people who are calling in saying these things. But we have to remember that even the judge said, let me just say, I was at the sentencing hearing. Even the judge said, Marilyn Mosby has done important work for her community. And let me tell you, I wish the people who are now blaming her for something or criticizing her for something would see the number of black young men who came out of prison after 20, 24 years and more because she had gone through the files and she had found that they had been wrongly prosecuted. They were there to speak on her behalf. There were people from all over the community, mothers whose sons had been murdered. They said when their own prosecutors, their own law enforcement, etc., didn't talk to them about those. Marilyn went wherever she had to go to try to help those mothers who had murdered sons to get information. The judge herself said that Marilyn had done such important work for her city, for her community, and that she hadn't committed any violent crime to have all of this happen to her, that she had no other offenses on her record, and she had a long history of public service. She took no public funds. Usually when people say, well, I don't feel sorry for them if they've taken public funds. These were Marilyn's funds that we're talking about. Marilyn has 2 young girls, 2 beautiful, smart young girls. Do we want their mother to be away for 30, 40 years or even a year away from them? So we have to take everything into consideration. No one has been convicted for, any acts that Marilyn Mosby did. So we have to look at that. She's suffered. She's the only one who suffered of these 35,000 people. Her children and her family have suffered. She's lost her property that she had tried to purchase to leave for her children, which is something all of us should try to do if we have children. She lost her marriage. Her husband left her. She lost her election because these people went to even her church and to all black churches and put out information against her. So she lost her election. She lost her ability, or she will lose her ability to practice law. So what more do these people want who are criticizing her when all she was doing was trying to work for our people and bring some measure of justice to balance the scales of justice for black people? I can't even imagine a black person criticizing her. And as I said, in all the time I have worked, only 3 black men, said something like, well, it was kind of strange. It was her money.
Well, this continues. The forensic accountant says, that that don't disregard my professional opinion. I'm going to continue to do my job, whether it's Mosby, Cuellar, Trump, or Menendez. Good for you, a forensic accountant, but that's really not how America works. For most people, there is bias. And the fact that I haven't heard you, maybe I missed it, in the chat saying having a problem with Trump having 34 felonies and everyone's saying, oh, well, he won't do any jail time because those are white-collar crimes. This woman, arguably either made a mistake, even if she did it on purpose, she moved her own money to be able to buy a piece of property. That is not even a tiny fraction of what Trump was was found liable for, I should say, in the civil suit with the Trump company, with changing the value of assets, and yet you don't think he should go to jail. So I'm going to challenge you to say maybe you'll do your job equally for everyone, but I think our perception is different when it comes to black women doing anything.
Absolutely, and Trump was totally disrespectful to the court. Marilyn never was that. Marilyn was a prosecutor, and we want her to return to being a prosecutor because she has done so much. And while these people from the Trump administration who are trying to cut her down and to take her out, they don't have time to do, the hate crimes and January 6th and the Tulsa race riots and Black Lives Matter victims down in Texas.
Right, the important cases, yeah.
No, they don't have time for that. They're busy trying to find something on a wonderful person like Marilyn Mosby. So I hope people will read all the information on the site. They can call me. I give out my number. Anybody can call me, and I can give them the answer for whatever it is. And because we want them to understand Marilyn was not wrong here. There was a mistake made, not because she didn't know, but because the person who was advising her to fill out the forms did. But even that is no reason for talk about any 30 or 40,000 kind of years in prison. And, Maryland has taken no public funds. Usually, I don't feel sorry for people if they've taken my tax dollars, like Trump and others have done. But she was simply trying to do good for so many of our people. The people were just lined up. Even Ben Crump came to speak on her behalf. We had white attorneys come. The Black Attorneys Organization came. All of them looked at this case, and they know Marilyn did nothing but good. She was just a progressive prosecutor seeking real change for communities of color. That's what she was guilty of, if you want to say she's guilty.
Will she be able to be a prosecutor again? When you have this kind of a conviction, can you regain your law license and practice again?
Well, we certainly hope so. Mayor Johnny Ford, who is from Tuskegee, mayor for 32 years, I believe they are now president of the World Conference of Mayors, knows that Marilyn attended Tuskegee University, and he's been helping us. He has written to President Biden, and he has a good relationship with him, just like Al Sharpton and all of them. The Congressional Black Caucus is asking for a pardon, and all the things the black people have done for this president and for many presidents. We've asked under Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution to pardon her fully. People have gotten pardoned for far less. Look at the people that Trump pardoned. If those are the people the listeners want to criticize, then I can understand like Navarro and Manson and all of these people. They did real crimes.
And Menendez, for that matter. Yeah, although he hasn't been convicted yet. Yeah.
Absolutely. So just tell them to look under Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution. And President Biden is vested with the ability, the power to pardon her fully, to grant a full reprieve. That's what we're asking for. Not any little, thing like, partial pardon. No. We want a full pardon because this power is in the president, and we have made him the president. So I hope I don't hear anybody. And it's only been just a few brothers, unfortunately. They criticized Fannie Willis. What is it about the success of black women that a few black men cannot celebrate with us? We go through some terrible things. I mean, I know I've worked on some weird cases, and justice was at stake, but it didn't matter what the punishment was for me. I was doing it because I believed it was right, and that's why we're working with Marilyn, because we know what a great prosecutor she is. She was doing the right thing. I mean, when it's these people who criticized her, when have they heard of a prosecutor who is saying, I'm not prosecuting these people who just have a little, marijuana charge or something. She tried to get them and put them on the straight and the narrow to correct their mistakes, but not send them to prison. As the judge said last Thursday, this is not the kind of case you send to prison. I don't see that going to prison would help Marilyn Mosby. So I'm going to sentence her to community service. Now, who are the other people to criticize her if this is what the judge saw in her? That she didn't deserve to go to prison.
Yeah, we're getting some other comments here. Pretty Brown Mimi says, I'm glad that she was not given any prison time. I stand with Marilyn Mosby. Hashtag I stand with black women. Morris Phillips says, no, me, I love me some smart sisters. And Ben Frank says that Paul Lee says Biden needs to pardon her. When we come forward, we'll find out what we can do to make that pardon more likely to happen and what else we need to know about the organizing, because there's significant organizing going on right now around this case of former Baltimore prosecutor attorney Marilyn Mosby. That's straight ahead on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age. But there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
Become a U.S. citizen with the help of the Los Angeles Public Library. Get free and confidential information on immigration and citizenship. Visit lapl.org/NAI to find your nearest library or call us at 213-228-7390. That's lapl.org/NAI or 213-228-7390 and start your path to becoming a U.S. citizen with the help of the Los Angeles Public Library. Call 213-228-7390 or visit lapl.org/NAI.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Eggs are a staple in our diets, and there's only one egg with more delicious farm-fresh taste plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. With more vitamins, including 6 times more vitamin D and 10 times more vitamin E, plus 25% less saturated fat than ordinary eggs. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, and organic. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, my. So we are talking with Dr. E. Faye Williams, a really iconic attorney, entrepreneur, and advocate. And you've been focusing on Marilyn Mosby. I had a lot of other things to ask you. I'll have to try to see if I can lure you back on my show one day soon. But what is it that we can do? I mean, they're continuing to go back and forth about whether or not this woman, deserves our grace in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
But for those of us, and I believe it's a significant number of us that do believe that, and believe she was most likely targeted for the good work she's been doing, what is it that we can do to make a difference here?
Absolutely. We have actually gotten over the 100,000 names on petitions to give Marilyn a pardon, which will be sent to President Biden. However, some of them are on paper and some are online. What I would like for you to do, or your listeners to do, is to go to justiceformarilynmosby.com. That's Justice for Marilyn, and it's spelled Marilyn, last name Mosby. JusticeForMarilynMosby.com. All you have to do is sign the petition there with your first name, last name, email, zip code, and phone number. Nothing else do we ask for. Please, we need you to do that right away. I hardly sleep at night, and I won't until I get to this 100,000 online. And I'm sure you have enough listeners to give me those few thousand that we need so that we can go ahead. Already, as I said, Mayor Ford from Tuskegee has sent a letter to the president. The Congressional Black Caucus is supporting it and has sent a letter. And there are many others who have sent letters to the president. So it's now time for the president to act. Every one of your listeners can play a part in this, knowing that they have done the right thing for a sister who has spent her life. She's the first in her family to go to college and to go to law school, was not reared by her mother, was reared by someone else. She grew up the hard way, like many of us did. So this is important for us to say to people who work so hard to do things for us that they're not going to pay alone. We're going to help them through this. We're going to help Marilyn. So, again, that's JusticeForMarilynMosby.com. And let me just say, if there's someone who doesn't have a computer, because as my friend Dick Gregory used to say, Grandma ain't got no computer, that's all right. Call me. Go to, I'm president of the Dick Gregory Society. Go to thedickgregorysociety.org. Every way to reach me is there. All you have to do is call me, and I'll write it in for you. If you tell me the information that I just had, I can put it in for you. Please do that today. I can't sleep until we get this done. There are a lot of other people out there who are working, too. So please be one of those who said, I helped to free this woman so she could go back and do the great work that she was doing, not just for herself, but for our people in this country.
I think it's one of the things that I love about this organizing campaign is so many powerful black women are standing up for this black woman, and it's a reminder that the sisterhood is real, and we are getting each other's back.
Yes, and I didn't go to Tuskegee. I went to Grambling University and Howard University Law School. But I'm concerned about people who go to these historically black colleges and universities, because often we don't have justice, even when we study hard, get out of school, and try to get a job. And we need people like Marilyn Mosby, who's working not just for herself, but is working for our people. That's what she did. I met two brothers who'd been in prison 24 years. Marilyn went through those old musty boxes and found all the mistakes that were made in those cases. Those brothers were there to talk on behalf of Marilyn when she was sentenced that day. That's why she didn't get sentenced to prison, because they were all black men who came and talked about the great things that Marilyn did to help them. So, brothers, you got to stand up. I mean, it hurts when I hear a brother down these sisters like Fannie Wilson, Marilyn Mosby, all of these who are getting a hard time in trying to do their work. I worked on the Emmett Till case. I know what it's like. I know the nasty messages you get and the threats you get and whatever. But you got to do it. Mr. Gregory used to teach us that fear and God do not occupy the same space. So come on, let's get up. All you got to do is go to your computer now or call me and I'll put it in for you. And just know that you can do a big thing, not just for you, but for our community. This is not just about Marilyn Mosby. This is about our community. So go now to justiceformarilynmosby.com, justiceformarilynmosby.com, and you will have done what we need you to do to help get Marilyn Mosby back to being a prosecutor somewhere and doing the great work she was always doing.
Yeah, I mean, we could do a whole show, Dr. Williams, about, what's happening right now, with hating on black women. And I would put the vice president in that category because people are going off talking points. They don't even know what they're saying. Oh, well, Kamala Harris put black men in jail. She was a prosecutor, so she prosecuted people. But again, it's like, well, no, we're not saying that because she's a black woman. We're saying it because she's Jamaican or because she was a prosecutor or because she didn't get permission for her 401k or whatever the reason. Y'all always got a reason to say it's not because we're black women, but you're treating us like we're black women the way the dominant culture treats black women. So what's the wake-up call that's needed?
Yeah, well, one of the things I want to say is that as black people, there is no reason why we should be doing anything against Marilyn Mosby before we know the facts. And even when we know the facts, we have to give her credit for the reasons for which she did what she did, trying to give her children a head start in life and trying to start a business. She wasn't doing this because she needed more money to live every day. No, she was looking at the future of her black children and everybody's black children. So we have to understand that sometimes we are worse than they are. I remember a white lawyer standing up and saying, Marilyn got convicted, but for working in her office and helping to do the same things, kinds of things she was doing as a prosecutor, he said, I didn't get one hate call, yet Marilyn got them all over the place. And unfortunately, some of them are from our people. We got to wake up. We got to wake up.
Well, right, and someone in the chat says the facts are the facts, but that's not even true, because why do 34 felonies equal no jail time, and one mistake on, on a mortgage application equals the end of your career? The facts aren't the facts. There's never been equal justice in this country, and when we start telling ourselves that as black people, we're suffering from what Paul Mooney used to call the illusion of inclusion, I think.
Just remember, these people who are working to try to make Maryland pay for working for our community, you don't see them working on the hate crimes. You don't see them supporting prison for Donald Trump. You don't see them working to get justice for January 6th or the Tulsa race riots, which have been out there for 100 years, for Black Lives Matter, the young brother who was just, was killed there and someone got his freedom, for the diversity, equity, and inclusion that people are trying to get rid of. Aubrey, they're trying to retry that case in Georgia. Palestinian protesters, where they've had 35,000 of their people killed, and we're criticizing them. Come on, people. Come on. When this happens to you, you're going to want us to be there for you.
Absolutely. And for those who are trying to reach Dr. Williams, the dickgregorysociety.org, the dickgregorysociety.org is where you can find her contact. I love me some Dick Gregory, Dr. Williams. Thank you for keeping his legacy alive.
Thank you. I was in the room with him when he passed away, and he left me lots of good messages to live by. So that's why I decided to organize the Dick Gregory Society. And I wrote one book about him called Wake Up and Stay Woke. I'm doing a part 2. You never get through talking about Dick Gregory.
Yeah, maybe when this year on his birthday we can do a show. I miss him so much. He was just a great supporter and always a brilliant person to interview as well.
That makes you really special. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I have to figure out how I can join your society. I should definitely be part of the dickgregorysociety.org.
Hey, you're it. I'm naming you. You're already a member.
All right. I have now officially a member. Thank you, Dr. Williams.
Yeah, say appointed by the president of the Dick Gregory Society.
Absolutely.
Love you. Take care.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Tavis Smiley is up next. History is now. We are making it together. I'll see you online at KBLA 1580. Until tomorrow, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Hunter Biden has arrived in a Delaware federal courtroom for his firearms case. Jury selection is underway in the trial of the president's son. Biden is accused of illegally buying and possessing a gun while being addicted to drugs.